Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone that can hear the sound of my voice to this week's edition of the Petty and Uninformed podcast. As promised, Kevin is here. Say hello, Kevin.
Hello, everybody. I'm
Yay,
back.
Kevin's back.
Hey, you know what I look at it as, because I had to have a partial amputation, so a bit of me is already scattered somewhere in Ireland, but probably in the middle of a shit field or something.
So cheap, you're paying for death and installment plans.
That's right. I look at it like this: it's whenever I croak it, it's less to burn up.
That's true. Do you get a discount on like a shorter coffin?
Well, no, I'll tell you one thing. It's been brilliant as far as that goes because they've gotten me all kinds of stuff and making me orthotics and all those different things that counter for it. So I mean, I can't complain about it. I can't complain about it. If anything, I would say that my treatment here in the healthcare has been brilliant. Brilliant.
Good.
So
Awesome.
kudos to the NHS, even though everybody complains about it. I have been treated like way better than I would in America for sure. I was telling a lady the other day that when I had my heart attack and bypass, I was in the hospital less time than I was whenever I had my foot because they patch you up, kick you out.
Yep.
That's about it.
I mean,
that's the last we have to talk about that. Other than the fact that my new nickname is NATO.
NATO.
If I had to lose a bit of my body, it would probably be a toe that I'd want to get rid of.
Yeah.
It seems like the least useful part.
Well, it's just a wee toe. You know what I mean? It was just the pinky toe. So I look at it like this. I can actually fit into shoes that I couldn't fit into before.
Nice. Go down a size.
Yeah, well, you see, that's what I'm saying. Those Doc Martens fit better now. So the reason I'm called NATO is because I have a Scottish friend, and he says, "Now you've got NATO."
Haha.
Got it.
Cute.
You need Nikki to follow you around so that every time you make a terrible joke, she can just go aha and make it really funny.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't. I didn't make it up, but anyway, I don't want to steal anybody's. Okay, go on. Everybody else talk.
Okay, and joining us
your week.
from Nikki, how are you?
Joining us from Nikki, how are you? I'm doing great.
Yeah, I had a brain fart halfway through that sentence.
You're like, what's your name? What?
Yeah,
Do
I
I
get
know
you
you?
confused. I get you confused with the other hosts because you're all so similar.
Yeah.
I've had sex
Yes.
with two of you, so
Right.
Well, we won't tell you which
I-
one.
we're not going to tell you which two, right?
But I will tell you
Yeah.
that Tom and Richard are going to be alone together in the woods. So, yeah.
I'm bringing my banjo, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Your one string banjo.
Dog-a-log-a ding-dong.
We both do know that Tom would totally be the bottom in this situation, correct?
Oh,
Absolutely.
no doubt. I had a friend who absolutely insisted on the same thing. Let me just make one thing perfectly clear, Tom. If you and I were gay, and if we were in a relationship, I would be doing the giving and you would be doing the receiving. Make no mistake. I said, okay, fair enough. I'll keep with you in that. I won't have that hypothetical.
I like how you just gave it up so easily. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's just like, totally.
Who can have the view?
I honestly don't think that was really a life battle that was worth picking.
No, I agree with you, Tom. There was no battle at all. You knew the right
Tom.
answer, and you just were
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Fantastic.
God,
There's
that
no
was
shame
brilliant.
in it.
Fucking love Tom. Tom's the best. Earlier today, my internet wasn't working properly. It seems to have sorted itself out. And I messaged Tom and I was like, I'm not going to be able to do the show tonight, it doesn't look like, unless something changes in the next few hours. And my internet's acting up. And he said, oh, that's a shame. Do you want to hang out on the internet and watch a movie instead?
I was was in that message board and I was like, that would be cool. But in my brain, I was like, but he doesn't have internet. It's just going to be me and Tom. I guess that's fine.
I kind of figured that afterwards. I thought, hang on, I'm either coming across as incredibly rude or incredibly stupid. I'm not sure I particularly want to do either. So I then qualified it with a message. About an hour, 2 hours later, it took the cogs to turn for me to join the fucking dots and choose your metaphor. And I messaged and said, "Yeah, trouble is, yeah, you wouldn't be able to. Do you think your internet would be able to sustain a stream if it wouldn't be able to sustain a stream?" Yeah.
Right, and before we move on to anything else, Kevin, I also have to bring you up to speed on the coconut story because I love the coconut story and I tell it to everyone and we all have a good laugh. So about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, I forget, Tom came, it was just me and Tom on the show, and he told this hilarious tale about how he was at school for lunch one day and he'd brought a whole coconut and he went out the front and smashed it open on the side of the school. Then he took a knife and carved all the meat out of it and arranged it neatly at the plate and turned to everybody who were obviously staring at him and was like, "What are you looking at? I'm just a man eating a coconut."
Yes. Well, here's my question. Did the coconut milk go all over his bell end?
For heaven's sake, I work in a school. That is not funny. Jesus Christ.
No, I'm just saying. I thought it was going to be like you tried to like drink the milk out of a pot noodle that you've reused 7 times.
Right. I see. You're referring to that. Well, yeah.
Yes.
No, managed to avoid.
You didn't get any on you. You didn't get any on you.
It cracked open quite conveniently. I was able to slice off the top of the kernel and drink it like it was a cup, and then carried on chopping. Interestingly, now first of all, Richard insists that I did this for attention, whereas I say I honestly didn't. I mean, it just occurred to me
as a man taking a coconut to work to eat for lunch.
To smash very loudly on the side of a school building.
Totally fucking normal thing to do. I don't know why you give him such a hard time, because I think that's everywhere all the time, right? Like people
honestly
can't swing a dead cat without hitting people smacking coconuts on the side of my house. I have to chase them away with a shotgun. They're out there. Oh, I can hear right now there's someone on the side of my house smashing a coconut on it.
Yes.
Well, I just thought the full extent of my conscious thought process was, actually I can eat something healthy for once instead of just eating crisps. That's potato chips to you guys, some of you guys. So without eating crisps or sweets and Red Bull and just eating really unhealthily throughout my planning time. It was about 9:15 in the morning, by the way. So that was the full extent of my conscious. Honestly, the full extent of my conscious thought was, I'm going to have a Coke. I'm going to have a coconut. Now, subconsciously, if deep on some unconscious level, I'm actually deciding to be a pretentious git and eat a coconut like the vegan hipster douche I am, then that I don't know, but certainly consciously, with all honesty, it wasn't. In fact, I've got a bit more to tell for you, actually, Richard. I told some of my friends about this just yesterday. It was the same time, 9:15, and I was talking to another teacher, a guy called Jack, and our head chef, Lee, and I said, "Oh, you know what, guys? That was a couple of weeks ago before Easter. That post right over there, that one, yeah. I smacked a coconut open on that, and everyone thought it was a really big deal. I'm like, I'm just trying to do my coconut." And my mate Richard, he badly reckons I was doing it for massively attention seeking. And they're like, "Oh, I like coconut. I like coconut." And I said, "Oh, do you?" They went, "Oh, yeah." "Oh, okay. Next week I'll bring one, and I'll bring a coconut next week, and I'll do the same again. And when I'll bring you around some slices. My friend Jack can have a little bowlful, and I can take some around to the canteen. And I can go, "There you go, Lee. There's your morning snack. Some freshly cracked open coconut." And so I'll go and get it. I bought a massive one, and yeah, hang on, I'll go and get it.
Oh my.
getting
While he's doing that, I just want to say there's nothing hipster about cracking a coconut on the side of the wall.
Yeah,
It's just odd behavior.
it's just
Well,
he can't
but
seem to understand that it's not the act of opening the coconut. It's the fact that it was who brings a full whole coconut in for a snack.
yeah, but you see, that's the point. Tom is a walking, talking Monty Python sketch.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's the joy of
Okay,
Tom.
so he's got another coconut.
Oh,
You guys
Oh, there we can
Nice.
hear it. Here we-
Oh,
that's got.
Tom,
that's
hold
got
on a
lots-
second. Hold it still. Your autism is showing. That looks great. So it was a small coconut. Do the
I
hoof
don't know.
beep.
Do you not think that it would be better to sort of drill out the hole and then drink it out of that and then smash the coconut?
No,
With a
drill.
hammer?
he's gonna have a power drill
Oh,
at work.
yeah,
Just
that's
in the
even
middle of
worse,
class.
Kevin.
Right.
No, but I'm saying, would that
That's
be
even worse.
would that be more odd if somebody were to take out a cordless drill with a big drill bit in it and then
You know,
drill it
guys,
out and then
do you know what I
drink
could do? I could secretly record me taking it to the site team. I could put my phone on record and record a voice message to Richard and Nikki in that group chat and just go over and say, oh guys, have you got a drill? Go, can you open my coconut for me? I want to have this as my planning time snack, and can you bust in for me?
That's not as funny as you sitting there surrounded by
Yeah,
all your
it's-
peers
Just
and
opening
pulling
the
out a
backpack.
drill and just be like,
Put on these goggles and stuff, and a hard
Well,
Safety
and a
goggles.
high beam.
and a
The
bloody
next
circular saw to
I was
cut
Yes.
the meat
gonna
up.
say, yeah,
That's
you
what
use
I'm
a
saying.
sawzall, like,
because we know his address, we could actually just get on Amazon UK and send him a power drill and and a battery operated, like circular saw.
okay, I would like to say this. I really thought that it was like an American coconut, which are much freaking bigger. That's a baby coconut and not as bad as I thought it would be.
It doesn't matter. It's
I
the
know
act.
it doesn't matter,
The
but I
size
know
of the
it's the act.
coconut is immaterial.
But I
Nikki,
was picturing this giant freaking coconut, not an
Yeah.
itty bitty,
like the size
handheld
of a
coconut.
basketball. Size of a
Yes.
basketball.
Yeah. Then I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that's excessive, Tom.
Yeah. How many African
That's
swallows would that take?
excessive coconutting, as
That's
opposed to
excessive
normal
coconutting in
coconutting
public.
that everybody does in public.
In public all the time. It's totally
So
normal.
This smaller one of mine, is it mildly more socially acceptable, Nikki, or am I being socially
I
awkward and weird?
believe that it's more socially acceptable mildly, but
Right.
it's still odd behavior. However, that being said, if I worked with you, I'd be like, hell yeah, give me some of that coconut.
Yeah.
I got a feeling if you work with Tom, you'd just be used to it. You'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, what's he doing
if
this
I
week?
worked with
Oh,
Tom,
he's
right,
opening a coconut.
I'd be
Oh, that's
like,
cool.
get me a coconut and we could both smack it on the bus in front of a bunch
Right.
of children.
And smack it in half and then put some booze in it, and then well, you can't do that at work, obviously. But
I mean,
get him a
you
wee
can, but don't get caught.
get him a wee umbrella to put in it. That's the way I like it.
I know plenty of healthcare workers that's how they get through their day. You're welcome. The people that are there to save your life are often blazed at work.
They're drinking lots of coconut milk.
Yeah,
you're
coconut
yeah.
milk. They're not
You-
putting stuff inside their drinks at work at all.
No.
Never.
That's a depressing thought. That's a
Really?
depressing thought.
It's a
It's
very
really
strong
depressing when
flavour.
you realize how many of your healthcare workers all the way around have they're at the very least alcoholics, and that's the ones that you don't have to worry about.
Well, I think that's true in almost any job anymore. I mean, you think about it as it's really hard. I've been looking at the way people, are doing. It seems like a lot of people are making money here just delivering stuff for restaurants and all that. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's just like people are doing part work and not working full time at doing anything. It's stressful, I would imagine. And yet,
Yeah.
everybody around here seems to have brilliantly expensive cars. I don't know that. How is it that everybody that drives me in a taxi to go somewhere has a Mercedes Benz or an Audi? I don't get it.
You
But
get
anyway,
you get more money by driving those. They were wanting to do a thing with Teslas at rental places, because if you rent out a Tesla and do Uber driving,
yeah,
it actually you make more money.
you do.
Yes.
Well, you know what,
A luxury car pulls in more money because you
I
can
was
request a luxury car.
yeah, I was watching this thing the other day, and this lady was saying, well, the fallacy of going to all electric cars in Britain, in the next, they want to do it by what, 2030, guys? I
Yeah,
think
that
that's
shit's
what
not
it
gonna
is.
happen.
And well, the problem with it is try to buy a car. Nobody will buy a car after it's out of warranty in an electric vehicle.
Hmm.
So, they're selling these cars for 70,000, pounds or something. They're so expensive here. And then, they get past the warranty period and they're like, yeah, it's worth nothing to us. You know what I mean? And people get
Yeah.
super pissed. You know what I mean? So, I was talking to a taxi driver and I was like, well, because he had this Audi that was a diesel. And I said, what do you think about going to electric? And he says, I said, he says, well, I don't know, because, by the time I'm done selling it, if this is a diesel, I can get a good amount of money for it if I look after it. But if it's an electric car, I get nothing,
That's
you
true.
know?
And also, it's worse on the environment. The batteries for those electric cars are worse on the environment than us using
Yep.
crude oil.
I think so too. I mean,
So,
it seems to me like
Way
the
worse.
hydrogen vehicles is the way we should go. I mean, but cars now, they don't really put out that much emission. New cars, you know what I mean?
mhm.
So I don't know.
Do
I've
you
been,
think that, you remember when Uber came out and all the taxi drivers kicked off and tried to get Uber banned? Like
yeah,
10 years ago. So do you think when self-driving cars come out, and obviously companies like Uber are just going to buy a bunch of self-driving cars and just send them out without a driver, do you think that Uber drivers are going to try and get that banned?
Nah.
I don't know. But the thing that I want to know about that is, now that I don't qualify for a driver's license, can I buy a self-driving car?
Okay, you fight them on that. You always fight them, Kevin.
Yeah,
That
I
happened to
don't know.
my dad like 4 years ago. He got chronic fatigue, so they tried to take away his driving license, and he fought them tooth and nail, and they had to give it back to him.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I don't know if I don't know if it would be safe for me to drive. Dickie, you've been on these roads over here. Would you really want to have a partially sighted guy driving around on
Nah.
the roads down the Arch Peninsula? Because I think the
Nah.
first thing I do is hit a pothole, and then that would be it. So maybe I'll get one of those electric bikes. The cool thing is, I saw this mobility scooter, honestly, that looked like a Vespa. So, like,
Nice.
I could totally deck it out like a Vespa. Go full mod on it. I mean, because all I need to do is go from here to, Bangor, and then I could take the train up to Belfast. So that's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not too horribly far away from Bangor.
No, I'm not. And when I was on the train last week, we saw Van Morrison got on the train right in front of us. He was sitting right in front of us.
What?
Yeah. Well, I know what stop I know where he lives
Oh,
because
okay.
yeah. So when he got on the train at the right stop. And he sat in front of us, and I said to Sam, I said, "That's Van Morrison sitting in front of us." And she's like, no, it's not. And then I pulled up the picture, and she looked at the side of it, and it was him. We didn't say nothing to him because he's a notoriously ornery character. You don't know if he's gonna, say hello or tell you to F off.
Right.
So that's how he is.
Well, I mean, it's got to be annoying to be approached all day when you're trying to eat food or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's what. Yeah, no, yeah. If he's trying to eat food and the waitress was one of the waitresses. It was a story. One of the waitresses went up and just tried to talk to him, and he got up and he laughed, told her to f off, something.
Yeah.
Wanted to eat his food.
In peace.
Yeah, in peace. But that's the way that goes. So, what's been happening this week, boys and girls, that we would like to talk about?
The Trump trial is hilarious.
Oh, it hasn't started yet, though. But they've just got all that.
No, but just the few days that Trump has been in there has been hysterical. He fell asleep the first day.
Yes.
Like, apparently head down on the desk asleep.
Right.
And then the second day he fell asleep again.
Yeah.
And broke wind.
Oh, he farted while he was sleeping?
Yes. Fairly,
nice.
like, audibly.
Someone set themselves on fire and die.
He's been it's so beautiful because he
yes, I heard that
been
too.
Going
Tom.
on these nightly diatribes on Twitter, losing his mind and basically trying to dox people and whatever. And when they went, his attorneys went to ask, okay, well, who's your witnesses that you're calling on? The attorney said, nah, we're not going to do that. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, no, your client has been going on Twitter or wherever, whatever his media thing is. I don't even know, Truth Social or whatever.
Yeah, Truth Social.
He's been going on there and basically doxing and all of that stuff. We can't put our witnesses in danger, that way. Like, this is dangerous. And the attorney was like, well, that's not right. Went to the judge and essentially said, we need to know, so we know for cross-examine, like, who are the next few witnesses that we're going to call. And, I promise that Trump won't put anything out on social media. And they said, the judge said, I don't believe you can make good on that promise, and you don't get to know who the witnesses are. So now you've got Trump's defense team having to make up all of their points and all of that stuff for every freaking witness. I think there's 30 some witnesses. They need to have that all together by what, Monday? Because they don't know what witness is going to be called.
Yeah, but I think
that's a solid foundation for an appeal, though. And,
right.
But witness intimidation, because
Well, I think I don't know if this is true, but I think that they can actually tell the attorneys who there's certain things. I don't know if this is true, but I think that in some cases you can tell the attorneys some information that they can't tell the client because they realize that he is sort of out of control.
Crazy. Yeah,
crazy. But it is, and Tom's right. Somebody did. I read that too. Somebody set themselves on fire in front of the place.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of? I mean, that's whenever you're starting to realize that if no, I didn't. Did they die? Was it a woman or a man?
It's a bloke, and it's not even clear what he was trying. Well, I don't think it's particularly clear what cause he was trying to kill himself for. His banner said,
what?
No, it's not. Well, his banner said, the one I saw, the banner said Trump and Biden are in league with each other. And that was the basis of this guy's particular brand of conspiracy theory.
I'm not advocating, fucking protest by suicide at all right now. Okay. But if you are going to do that, at least make sure the message is clear.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the message might have been clear, but the message is, I think. Well, I'd need to check it. We're ill-informed again, aren't we? So, as we should be, to be our namesake. And his banner said something along the lines of Trump and Biden are in league together and in league with each other.
Should have said down with this sort of thing and careful now.
Yes. I but it is funny because, and I think, in a lot of ways, as far as conspiracy theories go, that's one that I could get along with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, that's not really a conspiracy theory, is it? That they all work together to
They
just
all
screw
work. They
everything up.
all work for their constituents. It's just a different side to the same coin. They
Yeah,
all work to keep, the nation's
Votes.
populace
Yeah.
stupid and uneducated and
yeah,
fighting each other and not them.
yeah. Well, it's a funny thing because in the end, what happens? It's like this thing. They can't seem to get along, and yet everything seems to go forward. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
they just passed that bill for the. I was listening to the news tonight, and they said they passed the bill to give the Ukrainians their money finally,
Yeah.
and that was never going to pass, and that was the thing that was never going to happen, and now it's happening. It's just I'm glad it happened, but at the
Yeah.
same time, that's going to
Well,
piss off a lot of people
yeah.
that think that Putin's the shit. And I still don't understand that, but I it's not me. It's not for me to say. I mean, I don't know.
There are plenty of Americans who think Putin is a shit.
Why
No,
do
I
people
know.
think Putin is the shit? Why do
Well,
people think Hitler was the shit? People like
Yeah.
that is
yeah.
good. Are good at getting people to like them.
Well, you see, that's a cult of personality there, isn't it? And I
Mhm.
personally don't understand it, but I mean, when you look at the types of things, when I go from like sort of um, using Facebook in Britain versus using Facebook in America, I will say that it's totally different. The amount of sort of crap that is put here, put in America, um, as far as it's obviously conspiracy theories spending money
Mhm.
to try to bend the minds of people. You know what I mean? And it's like when you look at, I mean, when you look at people that I used to hang out with in the Bigfoot world, and they're into everything. I mean, they're still, it's like, okay, well, the rapture didn't happen that last week when the eclipse happened, but it's going to happen again. You know what I mean? There's going to be
Yeah.
another one.
Do you
23rd
remember?
is supposed to be
Do you
another day.
remember how rabid Matthew Johnson got over Biden's inauguration and how he was convinced like a SEAL Team Q7 was going to march in and stop the
Yes,
thing from happening?
That was him
yes.
listening to QAnon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. It was, that's the thing about it, and then whenever you look at it, it's like it never comes true, and everything's. I mean, how do you? Okay, so there's supposed to be another rapture on the 23rd. Is it? So that's like what, next week? So I say what we do is everybody that listens to this program, go outside and like just lay all your clothes around in a heap in front of your
Right.
house, and then go inside and hide all day.
I'm just so tired of the end of the world and the raptures. Like this rapture thing, this end of the world thing is all talk. It must be a man. All
Well,
talk.
the thing about it is
Oh, I'm
here's
gonna be so
Huh.
big and bad. I'm gonna end the world. Nope, didn't happen. Didn't
well,
didn't
Be-
supply.
Right. But Nick,
Benjamin
you might want to.
Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu might be your turd in the water pipe because that guy seems like he's out of control whenever it comes to Iran, and
Yeah.
although we don't hear that much about it, but you know the way that that's gone in Palestine and then the Iran thing, I don't know. I'm not going to say much about it because I think the last time that we talked about it,
Yeah, we
that
got
episode
copyright
that
struck.
that
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
episode got taken off. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to say strange things are happening.
Mhm.
That's it. That's it.
Maybe we'll be knocked out.
I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
I mean, how many times was the world going to end in our lifetimes with that
Oh,
Mayan thing.
I've been to at least 3 end of the world parties
yes,
Y2K.
in my adult life.
Remember Y2K?
yes.
I remember
Y2K,
Y2K.
the end of the Mayan calendar, this eclipse. What
There was
else
a
was
December the 12th or something. That was the end of the Mayan calendar, wasn't it?
right?
But
But
there was
those are.
another one. There's been a few.
But I remember the Mayan calendar one was a big deal because on the History Channel, up until the time that the Mayan calendar ended, they just played constant end of the world prediction programs. You know what I mean? It was just like the world's going to end, and this is going to end, and this is going to end. And then they were playing Nostradamus said this was going to end, and this person, it's just, you know,
Yeah.
if it happens, it happens. Though, uh, but what are you going to do? I mean, it's just hilarious to me. I think it's funny, but there's people. Did you see that article about the Idaho televangelist that convinced everybody to sell their crap and give them the money
Yes.
because the world was ending anyway, and then he took off with the money.
Yeah.
Now that's happened before in America twice in the
Yeah.
last, like in the last 3 years, there was this. Didn't they end up? People were saying, "Oh yeah, my family was in this cult, and they ended up selling everything, given the thing. My parents are penniless now because they gave it away to this dude." Now, my point of the matter is okay if the world's going to end, why does this dude need the money? You know what I mean? Why does he
Right.
need it? To spread the message that the world's going to end?
Yeah, they're not the brightest people.
I don't have a problem with that kind of con because those people deserve to lose it.
I mean, touche.
I'm just being honest. Like, if you can't use simple logic to go, hang on a minute, the world's ending, why does he need our money? Then I'm sorry, you deserve to get scammed.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's looking for the new cult. It's funny that everybody convinces everybody that they're in a cult now, but they're not in it. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
people who seem to be in a cult are the ones who pretend that we're all in a cult. It's an interesting juxtaposition. I whenever I go on Facebook and I look at people who are like, I know the truth and you don't know the truth, and that's the thing. They're the ones that are obviously the ones that are being manipulated, but they think
Mhm.
you're being manipulated because you don't know the real truth because you haven't done your research. Make sure you
But
do.
don't ask them to give you stuff. They'll be like, "No, do your own research." Yeah, because you
Yes.
don't have any. You don't have any sauce, dude.
Well, I know
You have
that's the
no
thing.
sources whatsoever.
If I, somebody said to me, I mean, I'm not an organized person, right? Because I'm all over the place. I got bipolar disorder, so I get, at times, I'm very highly focused, and other times I'm not. But if, for example, I was in my paranoid stage, I would have like a binder that I could just whip out and go, "Here's the truth." You know what I mean? Here's the stuff.
Right.
Because why wouldn't you print it out? I'm one of those people that would print it all out because I would be afraid that somebody would take it off the internet. The truth would be taken off the internet. So I would have it in my hands to say to somebody, look, here's the proof. Here's the proof. But I suppose, that's too much work.
Yeah. Well, also, it's too much work when you don't actually have any proof. It's just all juxtaposition.
I mean, yeah,
So I mean, like,
making that stuff up all the time.
all
Yes.
the time. I love a good conspiracy theory. I love the fact that every 2 to 3 years I will have a new antichrist in my life. Right now it's Elon Musk, but I remember when it was George W. and I remember when it was Obama.
Whoa. Elon Musk is the Antichrist. When did that happen?
Yeah. Like, since he decided that he was gonna make Neuralink and they actually put it in a brain like a human.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, obviously, I personally, I think, I have to say that I don't know the guy, but from what I see signs of megalomania there. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Whenever,
You
whenever
think
he,
he bought Twitter just because he didn't like what they were saying about him?
yeah, but I mean,
He wants to put a hotel on the moon. All
well,
right.
yeah, but that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I've said it before. Do you want to go to Mars if Elon Musk is in charge of it? You know what I mean?
No.
Because he genuinely doesn't really care for anybody except himself, and I
Correct.
think he just wants to make Mars into his own personal you know world.
Harem. Yeah.
Yeah, Elon Musk world. And
Empire.
yeah, it really it is a sense of empire, Tom. It is very it's sort of, and I hate to say it, it's sort of like the British Empire in the 1700s. You know, it's very much showing up to places and just putting your flag down and saying, "This is ours now." It's nice that you've been living
You
here,
know,
but
a lot of people disrespect us for that. But you know, if anyone else could have done it, they would do it. The Spanish did it. The French did it. It wasn't just us. All
no,
right.
no, that's so upset. We were very effective. If you look at it, the size of Britain is tiny. You know what I mean? And the population of Britain is tiny. To be able to have that much sway over a quarter of the population of the planet is amazing. It's amazing whenever you look at it like that. I mean, when you're talking about the thin red line, holding back all these other quote unquote people, like subjects of the queen and that. It was very thin. I mean, how could you, the amount of soldiers that held over a large amount of the population been all that bad? You know what I mean? Not everybody rebelled all the time, but
We
we
did
did
have a
have some
good navy.
problems.
We had the
I mean,
best
but if you
navy.
look at it
Back
like that, America had a revolution. Australia had a revolution and failed. Um, uh, India had a rebellion and failed. So, you got to give it to the Americans, I guess. They
yeah.
did it.
I mean,
We did it. We're doing so good by ourselves.
Well, it seemed to me like they just, like I said, what was the big difference between being under British rule and then not being under British rule? I don't think it really changed much, did it?
Nah, I don't think so.
Because after the Revolutionary War, they went right back to trading with Britain. It's an amazing thing. They went right back to it. Everything went sort of back the same way as it was after the war, and they sort of bounced out the French because the French then had a revolution because the French bankrupted themselves supporting American revolutionary things. So by the time that you know Marie Antoinette came around, there was no money, and so therefore she said let them eat cake, which she didn't really say, but anyway. And then it was time for the revolution, and they got their heads lopped off.
yeah. I
Final.
mean, you could do that back then.
Well, that's the point. I mean, so it's an interesting thing. When I was in London too. I checked this thing out. The Texas embassy is in London. You can go and see. There's a little plaque there. Whenever Texas was its own country, it one of the only places that it had an embassy was in Britain because it really wanted to sell a lot of different things to Britain, like beef and all. And so they had a Texas embassy in England, and that's one of the reasons why. Um, uh, you can tell I've had a lot of time to read whenever I've been sick. But anyway, that's one of the reasons why they were so excited about taking Texas into the Union whenever it got bankrupts itself, because of the fact that they were afraid that Britain would, bail out Texas debt, and then that would be part of Britain again. The Texas would be British. Not a lot of people know that.
Hmm.
We should have done it. Could you imagine Texas being British though?
Mm,
That
That'd
would
be
be
funny.
very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, given how well their football teams do, they pretty much are British, aren't they?
Well, the thing I would say about it is, go get them cattle in it. Oh well. Oh well. So, other than the person setting himself on fire this week, what else happened? Anything good? Anything topical? What have you guys been talking about since I haven't been here, other than Tom's coconuts?
I don't know. The coconut story dominated a few shows. I'm not going to lie. I love
Yeah,
that story.
it's really been a thing.
Well, are you guys going to talk about EastEnders?
I wasn't planning on it. No, not this week.
Well,
It's a desperate week this week, Tom. It's been a desperate week.
It was a grim week on EastEnders, and I don't really want to talk about it.
Yes.
Oh,
it's a.
Blimey,
It was
Okay.
It was a lot of essay issues. I'm just going to say that because obviously in now that you've got videos and stuff like that, you have to use these code words. So
Yeah, essay.
there was a lot of issues around that, and I didn't find it. I don't know. It was.
Compelling.
Well, no, it was compelling, but it was sad. You know what I mean? And I like this. I like the way that they handled it in the fact that this chronic essay person had been doing it for a long time, and people knew about it, and people were making complaints, and this person was continued to go on and allowed to keep on going on, and you could sort of see that it was coming. You could see, in the weeks previous to this, you could see the grooming part of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's and then whenever it happens, and then you have it's a torturous moment whenever the husbands find out, and then they want to go and take care of it, and then the wife says, no, I can't deal with you being in prison. You know what I mean? That's a hard part. I mean,
It's a very real conversation too.
it is a very real conversation, and unfortunately, it's one I've had in the past.
Yeah,
and,
I have
and,
too. Yeah.
and that's just one of those things where you're just your gut wrenched by it. So that's all I want to say about that. It was nothing really happy that went on this week, did there, Richard?
Dean got his. Looks like Dean's going away for life for murdering Keanu, even though he didn't.
Yeah.
I was wondering how they were going to wrap that story up. Do you know what I mean? Because, obviously none of the girls can go to prison for it. So I was wondering how they were going to wrap it all up in a neat little bow. And they actually delivered.
Yeah, and it worked out well with all the fact that Dean was, because he was not wanting Shabnab to have her daughter back and all that. Because he was stealing the money from the Cystic Fibrosis Fund to take her to New York, that was irrelevant or not related to this story, just sticks him. It just buries him. It was wrapped up nice. It was wrapped up well, that one. But will it come back to haunt somebody again? I think so.
Definitely. They got to leave it open.
Yeah. Because do you think that Dean as the character is going to be that transient? He's just here and then he's gone and he's going to jail? I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but they can't send the rest of them. But Denise is losing her crap. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is
I don't
you know,
know how it's going to play out, but I knew that none of them could go to jail for it, so I was wondering how they're going to wrap it up. But I do like the idea of framing Dean for it.
yes, I do. And did you notice how well the character that plays Denise, played a crazy lady?
Yeah, she
She
did it really well.
she did it perfectly. Perfectly. It's almost like she knows somebody that has lost their crap in their life. And, because she was really sort of the way that she moved and looked and everything like that, it was just amazingly good, I thought. And, so the one thing I've been watching on TV this week is Glow Up. You guys ever watch that show, that program?
I have
I
it on
don't
my
know
to
it.
watch list, but I have not.
It's a makeup show where they put all these different things. I don't know. It's like
Yeah,
Face Off or anything like
yeah,
that.
it's a competitive like makeup
It's
thing. I
actually
love
pretty.
those.
It's actually pretty good. I've been watching. I'm sort of addicted to it.
Yeah, they're
I don't
really good.
know.
If you haven't watched Face Off, that's really good. Ink Masters, really great.
Oh, I love Ink Master. Yeah.
Me too.
They still have the Dave Navarro thing, or they did it. They did when they were doing Ink Master, and then Dave Navarro was in charge of it, and then they did it on one where these three tattoo artists were going around sort of judging things. Tattoo Ink Master Angels, I believe it was called.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's three ladies. And then there's the other one. The competing one was, what was that called? Best Ink or something.
Yeah.
That was
There's
an
one
interesting
with
show.
body painting too. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was really good. But yeah, it was just people airbrushing and doing body painting.
Yeah. Well, these challenges are really, I mean, they're interesting. They put people under so much pressure.
Yeah,
I think
they
that's
do.
the thing of it's the time restraint that they have, and then these people. But then again, as a man, as a male who has not worn makeup in his life, other than it's been applied to him, I've never applied
Mhm.
my own makeup, but it does seem interesting that it takes so long to put on a full face of makeup. If you're going to do that, it's you're talking about hours.
Yeah, mine takes if I do a full face and I'm like contouring and all that, if I'm like going out 2 hours minimum. That's to
Yeah,
prep my face and do everything that I need to all the way down to my setting spray. About 2 hours.
and that's just for your makeup, and then not your
That's my
clothes and
makeup,
all that.
not
Yeah,
my clothes, not my hair.
so
Because
I don't think I've ever spent more than 45 minutes getting ready to go to anywhere. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's tough for me to think about that and like time that is consumed of that. We're so lucky that we don't have to wear makeup. Really.
What we do have
Although,
to do though is shave. We have to shave.
no,
I don't
no,
know.
we do have to shave.
whoa, wait a second. Women have to shave too.
Yeah,
True, I guess so.
And they shave a lot more because as you get older, as women get older, it's not just legs and underarms, it's then face.
well, you get those with the whiskers like chinny chin chin. It's
Yeah,
like,
and they just keep getting thicker as you get older until you're having to shave.
yeah.
I
And then if she
guess
has
so.
PCOS, she's shaving all of that more than you.
Oh, you know what? You know what I think is, like if you go to like an Amish land or whatever you call that, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
You see some old ladies with some beards.
I
But you
see
know what?
old ladies with beards every day at work.
Okay, I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna change it up because I don't know if you guys have talked about this, but what about this P Diddy thing? Have you guys been following that?
I have been every day,
Nikki has a lot.
every freaking day.
Okay, I don't do so. P Diddy. Okay, first of all, if he's a homosexual, who cares, right? I mean, that's just the
Right.
thing. I think the allegation is that he's using these homosexual acts not really as a sexual thing, but as a bribery sort of thing, where he's having sex with these uh, male rappers that then are just they can't basically break away from him. Is that right? I mean, I've always thought of P Diddy as the person who fronted the money to kill Tupac and Biggie.
Right. And he's slowly being linked to that. There are allegedly these I'm not sure 100% what is factual and not, because I haven't actually read everything. Supposedly, there is video footage of a murder that took place in his house, and the blood and the leftover, like in the bathroom, because all
Yeah.
of that was videotaped. They're getting him on sex trafficking because he was also trafficking his girlfriend. Um,
Yes, that she was.
then
Yeah, that he was.
there's
Yeah.
um allegations of him with underage males. Uh, there's discussion of how he molested and preyed upon Usher. There's uh, thoughts that, like, there are people thinking that perhaps that 48 hours he was with Justin Bieber and all of that stuff, some things might have went down with that. Um, So no, yeah, P Diddy, not R Kelly. P Diddy got R Kelly's in jail, but P Diddy is they're linking him to that. There's some thoughts that he was linked to Michael Jackson's doctor, and perhaps that he was going off on that, because if you have to think about it, like, Michael Jackson was speaking up very loudly against uh, basically the entire industry before he passed away. Um, then Tupac was doing very similar. So they're thinking that he has links to getting Tupac as well. But yeah, they raided both of his, or two of his mansions, and I don't know. We might not find out for years what was found completely in it.
And he's supposedly hiding out in the Caribbean or something.
No, he's in Miami. So his
Oh,
jet
so
was,
they do know where he's at.
yeah, they know where he's at.
Oh, okay.
But there might not be arrest for a couple of years, because essentially the way that they do it is they collect all of their evidence, and they need to have something solid. They want all of their ducks in a row before they go, hey, and make an arrest. So you might not get arrested for a really long time.
Mhm.
Just because they search your place doesn't mean that they have enough for an arrest. Also, this is the conspiracy theorist coming out of me. I really think that they took all of that and it's going to, whoopsies, get lost, kind of like,
Oh,
the
misplay. Yeah.
Epstein hard drive got lost. So I think that he's going to go down. I understand that he did this stuff. I think that he's a scapegoat for the bigger guy, though. I
Yeah.
think he's going to go down, and they're going to cover up everything, you know,
Well,
leading.
they linked it to see, this is the question that somebody else was talking about, and I was watching this podcast, and it was like they were talking about Jeffrey Epstein and some of the things that he was doing. He was really
Mhm,
into like physics and all these different types of things and dimensional travel and all that. And
mhm.
he said, and this guy was saying, "Well, don't worry about him. Worry about the guy that he was doing this for. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like the upper person who
right.
was motivating him to do what he was doing."
We'll
And
never know, because just because it's in a
yeah,
black book, they're not going to go looking for anything. And they lost a hard drive that had, everything on it. So I'm assuming that the same thing's going to be done with Diddy, because there's some very incriminating evidence, I would guess, because he
yeah,
had his place rigged up just like Epstein did,
yes,
cameras everywhere.
Right.
So,
And it's
you think he's going to be killed in prison like Jeffrey Epstein?
No, I don't think he's going to be killed in prison, but I think that they're going to lose the hard drive.
well, but there is so much beef against him now because it seems to me like, all these people are being implicated that, are very, 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 like, although people don't know who Clive Davis is, he's the guy who mentored P. Diddy and everything like that. He's a very, very powerful man. And apparently, according to these, allegedly, he's the guy that taught P. Diddy all these sort of weird tricks, about
Mhm.
controlling artists and that.
Yep.
And so that was one of the things that they, the interesting thing about, I don't know what to think of this Cat Williams guy. You know what I mean?
Why are you acting like Cat Williams is a new guy that just came on the scene when Cat
No,
Williams
no,
has been
I'm
spitting
not.
for years?
No, he's been saying that. He's been saying that for a long time. But
Yeah.
the issue is he?
Credible?
Yeah,
You never
I
know
don't.
with him whether he's trolling or not. I've talked to a lot of my friends, and they're like, listen, Cat will spit out the truth, but he's also, he's also going to be messing with people and trolling.
Yeah,
So you
but
take,
but would
but
you
that
do that?
whole Diddy likes to party, and you
Yeah.
just got to tell him no.
Yes,
I think he was being real about that.
he was being dead on about that. You
Yeah,
think?
I think he was. Everybody knows about P Diddy's parties. It's been a well known thing in the industry
Yeah.
that people have talked about like openly.
Right.
Even Usher has talked about P Diddy's parties.
Right. Well, I mean, it's an interesting. I mean, it was just, like it's like Cat Williams now is like, if you look at all these things, it's like Oprah's involved in this, and Beyonce and Jay-Z and all these different people.
Would you be surprised if Beyonce or Jay-Z were in trouble? Like I would. I don't know. I don't know if I believe in an ethical billionaire.
No, I don't. I don't at all. I don't. I mean, like I've said this before. I don't think you can be a billionaire unless you've walked and squashed people.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I just don't think that. Now, people disagree with me and say that's not true, but I mean, you know,
Is
I
there
think
any proof in that pudding that they can say that? Because I mean,
no. I mean, like I said, I mean, that's one of the things I've also said about, but again, they have that cult of personality. People like look up to them. Like it's the people who think that Elon Musk can do no wrong. He's like the second, the technical messiah. And, speaking about that, we've had a lot of different, messianic things around Trump lately.
mhm.
And I mean, like with the Bible thing, I couldn't go.
That was hilarious. Okay.
Drove me nuts.
Like, can I just, the Bible thing, the eclipse video that he put out, like, I, at least once a day, I reflect on the US and I go, is this real life? Like, am I really living in this time that I'm in where, like, this is just, I guess, acceptable behavior from a political leader? Like, people are applauding him. What?
Yeah,
The
I
word,
just feel
the
like I'm
phrase,
in a twilight zone.
a phrase of from a meme you posted a while ago occurs, Nikki. It's a delightful phrase. It's "We aren't going to make it, are we?"
Yeah, we aren't gonna make it, are we? And
well,
I'm okay with that. Like, bring it on, please. Just end it.
Yeah.
What's fascinating to me is that that, in a way, for Richard and me and Tom right now, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? We can look at it from afar and say, "Have fun with that." You know what I mean?
Right.
But
I
when you
live
have
Yeah.
here.
We can look. We can look west and have a laugh, but then we look east and go, ugh.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Well, but that's the funny thing, isn't it? Because and what I find about interesting about it is that I don't know. From here, it just looks like a shit mess. You know what I mean? And whenever I get back to America, whenever I'm taking care of all my other stuff to get out of there for good, it's going to be terrible again. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's nice here that you don't have to listen to it all the time. You know, it's just, but it's a constant thing. It's a constant thing, and it drives you crazy. And you sort of think, is social media good for your mental health?
they're
Because
showing it's not.
if that's where you're getting your information from, when you when you go on TikTok and these influencers just give their opinions about stuff like it's true,
Mhm.
it's nuts. What do you
Oh
think? Well, I
yeah,
don't really know, but here's what I think. You know what I mean? That's not
I
doesn't make it
love
true.
I love conspiracy TikToks. I found one after the bridge, collapsed. Um, basically saying that they'd set it up on purpose. It was a bomb, blah de blah. You could see the explosions, and they showed a video, and everybody's like freaking out. Oh, this is a horrible thing. It was a video from like uh, not Iraq, Ukraine.
Yeah.
It wasn't even our bridge, and people are believing that. So whereas you do get great information on TikTok, you always need to double check it though.
Yeah.
But that's any social media. People just out there lying for funsies, and like, I can't say that I've posted some crap that was just a giggle, knowing that
Right.
some of the saddest people on my page are not going to understand that it's a joke.
Well, Nikki. That's the thing. I've said it before. They say 30% of the population cannot understand sarcasm,
I know. And
and those are the. I mean, it's interesting to me that of the Republican Party, 30% of the people that are Republicans are MAGA supporters, and they will not give up. They will not give up on Trump. So, I mean, is it that they just don't understand sarcasm? I mean, you know what I mean? Because
Is that
obviously,
true? 90% of the world doesn't understand sarcasm.
no, 30%
30.
of 30% of people do not understand sarcasm.
Oh, wow. Those people are just so intelligent.
Well, Richard, that's why they would think you're a dick. You know what I mean? That's why they think I'm a dick. Because
Yeah,
we do say sarcastic things on offhanded comment. You know what I mean?
I have a
Nikki
true
too.
story about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was at a dinner with my in-laws, and I said something, and my sister-in-law like lost it. My sister-in-law and I, we don't have a great relationship by any stretch of the imagination, and I realized why that is. She took me seriously, and she kind of went off, and her husband was the one that went she was being sarcastic, and I was like, have I been sitting here talking to this woman for 20 years sarcastically, and she's been taking everything I say at face value? Like,
literally.
oh
I mean,
my gosh.
yeah,
Oh no. No wonder you don't like me and think I'm a horrible person, cuz
right.
I tell you what, sometimes I just like to argue.
Well, I think that's why Tom is a better communicator than the some of us.
Can
Yeah.
confirm. She likes
The
to argue. Can confirm.
Yeah, I
yes,
do. I
because
love a good argument.
I think that sarcastic people do it in a passive aggressive way because we do just say, okay, I'm going to get into the middle of this and I'm going to stir some shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's the
And
best part.
yeah, and I think that's sort of a mindset of some people. It's just like, okay, do you think that comes from boredom, Nikki? Like you get bored and you just want to fuck with people?
You just like to instigate. Mine is always, I'm going to be honest. I have a lady at work who is incredibly Catholic, like literally goes to mass every single day. Her entire personality is that she's rich and she's Catholic. And she gets on my last damn nerve. And she is the one that I start shit with. I say things to trigger her on a regular basis. Because she has said some exponentially horrific shit in my presence that I have no respect for her anymore. Like if I were any other person, I could have went to HR and had some crap done because she said some racist stuff. She said some very bigoted stuff in front of me. So yeah, mine isn't boredom. It's who you are as a person. Are you fun to mess with?
Right. So it's your way of attacking somebody within the legal limits of the law.
Correct. It's kind of like I also am a huge fan of malicious compliance.
Right.
That's one of my
Which
favorite things as well.
I love malicious compliance. You want me to do this for you and it's really stupid? Well, guess what? I'm going to do exactly what you told me to.
Right.
And you get to, reap the rewards of your own stupidity.
Right.
That's my malicious compliance. Like, this isn't going to work, but sure, let's do
Yeah.
it your way.
Do it to the letter of what you said. This is what you told me. This is what you told me.
Yeah, this is exactly what you told me. I did it exactly as you said.
Yeah. Well, that's the way to win an argument is
Yeah.
to say the words "you told me." You told
Yeah.
me that this is what you wanted.
Yeah.
So how am I responsible?
How am I responsible for it? It's kind of
Yeah.
like, us being severely understaffed at work and a mistake happening. How did this
Yeah.
happen? Well, I don't know. You work a skeleton crew, you get skeleton crew mistakes. Like,
Yeah.
congrats to you. You played yourself.
Yeah. It's like the building supervisor at the school that Tom goes to and saying, how did we end up with a coconut getting hit up against this wall?
Right?
How did we not know that we needed to provide a power saw and a drill?
Maybe that was it. Maybe Tom was forming his own protest, like the guy who set himself on fire
Yes.
with a coconut
I think that
protest.
But you look at it like this. The amount of time that the coconut protest has actually caused us to talk about it is more than the dude who set himself on fire.
That's true.
Yeah.
So what really was the best way?
Yeah,
I
it really
think we
was.
should have a coconut protest. It
I
could
think so.
save the nation.
Yes. And then we could talk about how we can't have coconut cream pies because Tom is hoarding all the coconuts. Because he wanted something healthy. He didn't want to drink a Red Bull
for lunch. When I think a little snack for lunch, I think about like, I don't know, some baby carrots.
Is Red Bull vegan compliant, Tom? Is that vegan compliant?
Yeah.
It is?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
No.
What animal do you think is harmed in the making of Red Bull besides the bulls?
People.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't count, right? We don't care about people.
Definitely. That. You can have energy drinks all you like. I've got a great one waiting outside for me. Levi Roots, watermelon, guava, and chili, or something.
That sounds good.
Oh, that Levi Roots dude. I remember when he went on Dragon's Den. And
that Levi guy, he was on what was he on? Celebrity Big Brother. I really liked him. He seems like a genuine guy. He seems like but he does have like 7 children by 4 different women or something like that. He does like to spread it around. But
he's just, he's just keeping that line.
But he is he's a very stylish. For a guy who's noticing fashion now here, because it's interesting to see how people dress up to go places at times. It's not just, like you get your t-shirt and your jeans guys, but you do get some nice looking suited people here. But Levi Roots has a really nice sense of fashion. And it just seems like a genuine dude. And he's always doing this Rasta thing. So, I mean, you'd have to think that he would be fun to be around. I don't know. Maybe he's a dickhead, but, he comes off well.
I bet the Rasta thing gets tiresome after a few hours.
Never.
Yeah. I mean, he's just like he just seems like he's so chill and cool. You know what I
He's
mean?
probably smoking
Yeah,
all the ganja.
man. Yeah, man. It's
Yeah.
man. There's an A in it. It's man. Say man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Lot of mercy.
Okay, well, before this gets too racist, I'm going to go
That's
ahead and
not
wrap.
racist. That's
That was
not
pretty-
racist at
That was
all.
pretty
The
racist.
accent totally
No,
is.
what?
Yeah.
What? Because I said lot of mercy. I have to say that. Hey, listen. If I'm making a song that has any sort of ska or roots in that, that's a good question to ask. Can I say that?
Do
Can
you
you?
want me? Do you want me to? I will have a black girl give you her opinion.
Yeah, ask if that's okay. Because I mean, because is it all right if somebody imitates an Irish
Nikki.
person?
Yeah, Nikki's got a black person at her disposal. She lives in a house. She doesn't pay rent. She eats food. Nikki
She
doesn't
does
pay her.
not. She does too pay rent.
She
Okay,
lives
no,
there. Nikki doesn't pay her for all the chores she does. She just lives there and helps Nikki out of her own kind heart.
Wow.
but let me ask you a question. If we come up with a section of the program called "Ask a Black Woman," is that not racist?
I will ask her off air.
Yeah, well, ask her if that's racist. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I mean, are we
We
supposed
asked
to?
this black woman for her opinion.
Yes.
I was
No,
still
no.
give it to
It's
you
like,
too.
well,
Whether
maybe
you
we
like
should,
it or not. She's a
well,
very
maybe,
opinionated young woman.
well, maybe people can write in. We could have like ask a Northern English person, ask an American, ask an Irish person, and ask a Londoner.
Ask a
Yeah.
coconut smasher.
Yeah, a coconut smasher, somebody from Kent. Ask a Kentish person.
Ask a vegan.
Well, I'm
Yes.
glad
Why?
a coconut smashing vegan hipster douche.
Yeah. I mean, I think
That is your official name. Yeah.
between
I'm
the
going to get
four of us,
tattooed.
between the four of us and Nikki's special friend, that's a lot of people to ask.
Yeah. Yeah, this would be a great advice show. Just,
Yeah. Ask
Oh,
your
God, we're gonna be
questions,
agony aunt.
and we could tell you, and I'll let you know if you can, say fiddly dee leprechauns and whether that's offensive or not.
That's pretty
Whether
racist.
or
Alexis
not that's
found
racist.
out that Irish people like black people and was like, I'm not afraid to go there now.
Wait, the
What?
Irish people used to be black people.
Exactly.
Before we had black
Yeah,
people,
I know.
Irish people were
I
the
know.
That's
She was like, oh. I was
Yeah,
like,
because
babe,
I was
y'all the same kind of people.
yeah,
You
I was
treat
talk
the
I
same.
was talk yeah, I was talking to somebody about moving to my mom moving to London in the 1960s. And the fact that, the sign that says no Irish, no blacks, no dogs, you see. Well, those are the people they wouldn't, rent to.
Mhm.
And so I was talking to her, and she says, "Aye, but it was no Irish first, so like we were worse than blacks." But that's what I mean. That's why I mean. I met a guy. I met a black man from Bristol one time, and he says, "Oh, well, you're a white guy." I said, "I'm Irish. I'm not white." You know what I mean? I mean, it's like I said. It's like Richard's funniest moment that he's ever had with me. Sometime is with the time I came up with the term "potato monkey," and
Love that. I
he
love
loves
that.
it. Loves it.
I love that. Yeah.
But in a way,
That is totally Tom's serial killer name. The
yes.
Kent
Yeah.
Coconut Smasher.
I
Tom,
Yeah.
when
just
you
thought
finally
that-
snap, you have to murder people with coconuts.
I know, right? I just see him, and then he just started flailing it around on the playground. I don't know. Took out 12 kids.
Given the type of TV show, I mean, it seems like everything on the BBC is like a detective show now. So I think that the Kentish Coconut Smasher would be a series that they would have. They would
Yeah.
definitely
Because
do that.
it's because
Oh,
England
boy.
is 10 years behind America. now 10 years ago in America, they had a whole bunch of procedurals on. Now we're starting to make our own procedurals, and I'm here for it. Procedurals are my favorite form of TV show.
Man, have
Okay.
you watched Lucifer?
I have. It's garbage.
So good. Shut up.
It's absolute garbage.
How many episodes did you watch?
I watched the entire first season.
Oh, it gets so much better.
Oh, all I'm
It's the
saying is,
devil.
It's because Tom Ellis is Welsh.
yeah,
That's why, isn't it?
because
I mean, it doesn't help.
y-
Welsh
yeah,
and fucking beautiful. Just a
Well, that's that-
beautiful man.
you can't have that, and he probably sings really well too.
Yeah, he do. Man
Yeah,
can sing.
So, but you know, I know you hate Gogglebox, Richard. I know you hate
With the
that
fiery
shit,
passion of 1,000
program.
watts.
But you should watch the scene where they talk about Saltburn. I mean,
I don't
They
think you would understand how much I hate Gogglebox.
yeah. Well, the fact that they show the scene where he's sucking up the bathwater. Oh,
Right.
and apparently, Sophie Ellis Baxter's "Murder on the Dance Floor" song has come back because of the
Yeah.
last scene.
Yeah,
the
I read
last
that
scene
too.
in Saltburn, where
Yep.
he's helicoptering it around,
Mm.
as you do.
As
And
one
on
does.
that bombshell, going to wrap
Yeah.
things up. We will return next week despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from them. Good night, everyone.
Good night, all.
Cheerio.
Good night, people.